today we are doing a hair transformation on my beautiful sister Grace. So this is her current hair color. It is a bit of an ombre, which has just grown out a lot. Her hair does throw a lot of warmth, just like mine. Lucky girl. And today what she wanted to go for was a kind of grey ombre color. So these are some of the pictures that she sent me that she liked the look of. So we decided to make a few changes just to make maintenance a little bit easier and regrowth and things like that. So for one, she did not want her root color to be as dark as these images. She wanted it to be very similar to her natural root color, which is a 7 level. But of course 7 levels can still be quite warm, so we did opt for a 7 ash color, and I will show you guys my formulations later on. As well, she didn't want to damage her hair by over bleaching it, and of course many of these looks you need pretty much white platinum hair to attain that kind of grey colour. So we did do a few things a little bit differently, leaving the underneath a little bit darker and only bleaching the top sections so to minimize damage. So I did mix 2 different bleaches. One was with 20 volt and one was with 10 volt. Now let me just put in a little disclaimer. I am a qualified hairdresser, so of course, you know, if you want to achieve this kind of look, it is always best to go to a hairdresser. But I'm just showing you guys how I did it at home. Do this at your own risk. Make sure you look at the hair correctly, look at the texture, porosity, condition, all that jazz of the hair, and don't over bleach it. Don't go for peroxides that are too high. So basically what I'm doing is using the 20 volt bleach on the darker areas of hair, and then the 10 volt bleach on the very lightest pieces of hair. Of course, if there's any areas that are really super blonde, I'm just not going to bleach those areas at all. So for sectioning, all this hair underneath we are basically going to be leaving a little bit darker. So I'm going to start the bleaching from about the crown area and work my way up. I'm taking very thick sections, so normally I would not do foils this thick, but because we are doing a kind of ombre faded type look, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going in with the 20 volt first and just doing kind of random application, like a balayage kind of application. So I'm not doing a dead straight line, I'm just chopping and changing it a little bit just to help with blending. Also, as you can see, it's a really thick section, so I am trying my best to work it through all the layers of hair. Of course, if there are some bits left out, it's not the end of the world as well. It's going to just help with that blending. So I've done the 20 volt all the way down, and now I'm just doing the 10 volt on those ends. Because I do have a combination of those 2 bleaches in here, I'm just laying another foil over the top and then folding it up from there. It's just a lot easier when you're working with a chunky bit of hair. So I'm going to speed things up for you guys. I am doing a little bit of teasing on some areas of the roots as well, and basically working my way up all throughout the crown. I'm just doing splices. I'm not really doing any weaves or anything like that. I'm just trying to get this whole top section as light as I can. So for these side sections of hair, as always, I'm doing them on a 45-degree angle. I am leaving a few little pieces out and just teasing them as I go and just working it as I go, basically. So I'm doing the 45 all the way up, but because she does have quite a straight parting, the last few foils I'm just doing a veil over the top as a straight part alongside the part, so not on a 45-degree angle. At least that way it lets me control exactly where the lightning is going to be, and it just makes my job a lot easier, basically. So here you have all the foils in. Of course, I left out her natural regrowth to some extent. I do have a few pieces left out there as well. We are going to be doing the roots darker, so I didn't see the point in bleaching them and then taking them darker again. So now I'm just letting it process it for the recommended processing time depending on what product you're using, and of course of the hair texture and porosity, and you know, if it has been pre-lightened. So looking at it now, I'm pretty happy with that, so we're going to rinse this off. So we rinsed it off, just did 1 shampoo, and now it's time for a toner. So for toners today, we are going to be using the 18-in-1 intense toning shampoos. We've got the violet toning and also the blue toning shampoos. So I'm going to mix a combination of both, obviously using more of the violet toning than the blue. So mixing those up and applying those all over her hair, even to the areas that we didn't bleach, just to really get a nice ash tone going on. Alright, so we rinsed that off, gave it a tiny, tiny conditioner and dried it completely 100% dry. So this is how it's looking. It came up pretty well. So now I do have 3 formulations of colour. I've got the root colour, I've got the mid-length colour, and also we have the ends colour. So these 2 colours here are going to be for the roots and mid-length colours. And then for the ends colour, I use the Bright Organic Semi-Permanent Hair Colour. So this is a direct dye colour in the shade Silver. I forgot to film using it, so yeah, that is the shade that we used. I am doing the root colour all over her natural dark roots, like the roots that we've left out dark. So all over the whole head, I'm just going and doing that little kind of, 2 to 3 centimeter area all over her head. So because we are taking the underneath section darker, what I'm doing is taking that root colour, the 7C, down a little bit further. So pretty much covering just all that dark area. And then as you can see, the ends are a little bit lighter, so I'm going in with the 8C over the ends and just blending them in really well together so there's no harsh lines and it's all seamless. Alright, so when we get to the bleached areas, what I'm doing is basically combing through that root colour a little bit, applying a little bit more if need be, just to try and help it blend that little bit more and make sure it's seamless. So what I decided to do to kind of transition from all those different colours, the root colour, the mid-length colour, the end colour, I started just doing a few little weaves in that area. So I weaved out just a few sections, then applied the mid-length colour a little bit lower on those sections. So that way we've got a nice combination of the lighter grey, darker grey, and the darkest grey kind of fading through that area. I still added the mid-length colour on the areas we didn't weave out, but I just didn't apply it as low down as I did on the areas we did weave. Of course you can have these sections in foils if you wish, completely up to you, but I just didn't bother. Then what I did for the very ends that were left out was I firstly kind of wiped off the excess colour on my gloves and then went in with that lightest grey colour and just saturated that all over the ends and blended it through with the rest of the colours. So I did exactly the same on the sides and basically worked section by section all the way to the top. As I said, you can foil these sections if desired. Make sure that you wipe your gloves off really well before going to the lightest grey colour, and yeah, just take your time, enjoy the process. Alright, so here is how it's looking. Process it to the recommended processing time depending on the semi-permanent or permanent colours that you've used. And rinse it off, dry it, style it. I did give my sister a little bit of a trim as well. And here is the finished results. Thank you Rainbow so much for watching. I hope you've liked this video. It was so much fun to do and my sister absolutely loves her new hair colour. Yes, it's a bit different from the photos, but that's exactly how she wanted it. The minimal damage, minimal maintenance, and it looks amazing. Thanks for watching.